Well, good morning. It is a beautiful Las Vegas morning. We need to check a couple things like we normally would. We want to do some good deep cleaning, and then we have some maintenance. Some is easier than others, and some I'm not sure how we're going to tackle yet. So I think maybe we'll even go hardest to easiest. Now, probably the most important thing on our trailer are going to be these wheels. If these wheels, tires, if these are having issues, we're not going down the road. And actually, we had a pre-trip inspection yesterday, and I started noticing that this one was looking a little low. Also, these little valve caps, how cute are those? Little American flags. I love that. So if we check the pressure, the maximum pressure for these is 65 PSI. And this guy is a little tiny bit low on the high end of 50, but that's well within the acceptable range. However, if we look at this guy, and the other two are fine, 10. So yeah, that's not great. But beyond just that, the other thing I'm saying, and I went ahead and torqued these down just the other day, got a little play in here. So that is not a good thing. We need to have that addressed, especially it's all under warranty. In this case, I don't think I'm gonna tackle this just myself, and I'm not gonna do the full bearing lube right now because I wanna see what Dexter, and we're on the phone with them right now, just waiting for them to pick up. I wanna see what they say. A really nice thing though is if we needed to, we could pull that spare off and stick it on there if need be. I'm really glad I showered this morning. Well worth it. So I gave Dexter a call, and the gentleman was really nice, but he goes, yeah, call this warranty department here to create a claim. And he goes, once I have the information, he goes, you're gonna wanna make sure you have the sticker. I've got a photo of the sticker here. He said there's a bunch of stickers, I only see the one, and my sticker is kind of like chipping off. The good news is though, they are using the, let's see, yeah, it says capacity is 3,500 pounds, which is excellent. That means that we have 7,000 pounds worth of capacity here, but our trailer's only rated up to 6,000, technically speaking. That gives me a little bit of confidence here, but I'm looking at the, this is the wheel from the backside. I'm checking that, look at that, and I can see, yeah, it's definitely squishy on the bottom, that's for sure, but I don't see any damage or anything like that. And so there's nothing, nothing impacted or anything like, I don't see anything, nothing stands out to me. So this might be a simple thing. I also asked, I said, hey, what should I do? Is there any like common fix? And he goes, dude, it's under warranty, do not touch it. He goes, if you get it taken apart and you call us up and you say, yeah, I've got it taken apart, they will likely void the warranty. So good to know. But we have to do all that claim online. So Emma's set an appointment to get the tires rotated, 30 bucks, man. Some of these shops, man, they're like, oh, we gotta rebalance your tires. Kiss my ass. You don't need to rebalance tires every time you rotate. Get out of here. Somebody will do it for 30 bucks, so if we can do it cheaper than that, we certainly will. But in the meantime, we want to go ahead, release the pressure here, and we want to swap our anode rod. Have the pressure out of the top there, and then it's a 1 1/16 inch socket here. And then I think it was maybe 20 bucks, and it came with this little sprayer here, which is a nice thing. Oh, there it all goes. Yeah, look at that. A little eaten up. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but yeah. Isn't that crazy? This just happens because of different metals and corrosion, and there goes all that perfectly good water. 20 bucks. Comes with the anode rod, the right size, tape, and little sprayer. Not only does it spray this way, by the way, it unscrews here, so it stores a little easier. That helps a lot, I'll tell you. But also, sideways, that's gonna help us. So let's go ahead. One thing we were seeing in here was there was a lot of crap, right? Yeah, all this sediment and buildup. Now it's hard to see, but it's like sand. So go ahead. Yeah, look at that coming out of there. Oh, that's the good stuff. Gunk right there. Ugh. See that? Oh, we'll get more out of there. I got the perfect angle right here. And then, I mean, I've been at this for 20 minutes now. Back and forth. It's just getting all this sediment and buildup, and oh yeah, it's still coming out. Jeez, these sideways sprayers are fantastic. But I mean, just look at that. That is huge. This is what would all be in the tank, corroding the tank if we didn't swap the anode rod and all the sediment and crap. I mean, just not good for your system. Yeah, it's still coming out. And this will save us a good amount of money. So 20 bucks, even if you did it once a year. I really don't think this is a matter of, whether you full-time or part-time, because this is all stuff that is basically sitting in your tank, and the longer it sits, of course, the worse it gets. Finally, all right, it was about, what, 35 minutes? Yeah. So nothing else is really coming out at all. All right, we got pipe tape on there, and then, yeah, look at the difference in that. I mean, that is a pretty That's pretty substantial. So, yeah, all the chunks from this were down in there. So we'll go ahead and get rid of that. I really don't see much point in doing all this if you're not gonna properly clean it out as well. This one's kind of hard to screw up, I feel like. Just good cleaning and then replace the rod. Nothing to it. Oh, and if I didn't mention, we did have to turn the water pump off when we did this. Otherwise, you're just gonna keep filling the tank. So there goes all your fresh water. Actually, since we already have the hose out, we'll go ahead and fill up our freshwater tank again and off we go. So another really important mod is the toolbox. The one that we bought, that Master Crap, absolute piece of shit. Like, nobody should buy that. We have it's not Cobalt, we actually have 2 Husky toolboxes, and I was so glad to get those. Those lived very well in the bus. They were not super loud. And they actually lock. Go figure, right? What a concept. So it turns out that our bigger one fits perfectly right here, and it's very, very tall. And we will be bringing our tools, the tools that we need. We are going to be building a platform here. A rather simple thing, a little piece of wood that will then better reinforce this, because this is a very compliant piece of wood and we don't need it to be so compliant. So we'll be working on that. However, one upgrade that we've been sorely lacking, in the past we used Weiss cams. That wasn't quite it. We actually had Ombar send this guy. So it's a 4K front camera, 2.5K rear camera, but there's also an add-on, which I think is kind of interesting. This guy, we just checked out the listing, it was $99.99, plus there's a $20 coupon. So an $80 camera, what do you get? A 5-year warranty apparently. And they have like screen protection, so it's called the T2. And it looks like it's just USB powered. So let's see what else is in this box. Oh, I like that. So this is actually, so it looks like a GPS module that you'll plug in right here. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, that's how that goes. It sits right in there. All right, like that. You can see that. That's kind of a nice deal. That actually looks pretty nice. And then you have your inside camera. So you plug this guy in. It's got a lot of cable here. You just peel this back and you can run the cables along. That's how I did it in my mom's car, all the way to the back. And then this guy is sticky, and you would set this in the back window, it looks like. It's lightweight, but it doesn't feel like a piece. Some things are lightweight and they are absolute trash. Not, let me feel the weight of that. This actually feels.
Oh, that feels sturdy.
Substantial enough. Now here's a charger. So obviously it's like a 12-volt cigarette adapter, so it'll drop from 12 to 5 volts, which is kind of cool. It also includes a USB, so you're not just taking up your, if you were charging your phone off of that. It's been a few hours. We went ahead, did a little bit of shopping, and got a couple a bottle jack and a couple jack stands. That's a pretty good thing.
Yes, we did.
So let's talk about this dash camera. See, my mom was actually in an accident, and the issue with her dash camera, which was, I think it was 80 bucks as well. Her dash camera though, she was sideswiped, and you can actually see it. She actually had the rear facing camera. She sideswiped, so you see that. They had no front plate. But by the time the car got past, they sideswiped, then kept going, couldn't see the license plate. And so the Washington State Patrol was like, yeah, we'd love to prosecute. Well, what's the license plate number? And she's like, wow. So she didn't, and that's not what you think about in the moment. More important, I think, than just like capturing what happened, is capturing who did what. So not only being able to get you out of a jam, well, in this case, actually, even if you are pulled over for speeding, this actually has GPS. It seems it's just as accurate. And I like that there's a screensaver that just shows the current speed.
The time and speed, yeah.
The time and speed, so that's pretty cool.
Just a little blinking light in the corner, it's recording.
Yeah, and I'll show you how we have this set up. But the vehicle in front of us is a red Toyota Corolla 308 Zebra X-Ray Union in front of us. So does that pick that up? But at this point, like, I would have a tough time seeing this. So we are up on Ogden Avenue, and we're heading south. So are you able to pick up these street signs? There's 2 males on the right-hand side. Are you seeing that? These are kind of the things that matter though. And in this instance, we actually have the interior camera facing us, so it's like a little off to the center of in front of me. It is pretty dark. We have pretty dark tint on this vehicle. Does it pick up the interior here? And just to show you kind of what this looks like. So here's that interior facing unit, and then from this perspective, I actually can't see it. Over here, you can see the GPS modules right here, which again is very, quite accurate. You actually have to twist that on, and the suction is very extremely sticky. All right, Ram, or Stellantis, and all their brilliance decided to put a plastic cap on the front fuel filter and then hide that son of a bitch. So we're gonna go ahead and put this aluminum one on. It wasn't expensive by any means, but we are certainly going to be tearing that plastic one up because those, I think it's a combination of suction, obviously the diesel fuel, you have a you have like a rubber ring in there, you know, it's a whole thing. So we've got this monstrosity. Last time I did it with a 3/8 inch drive, that was not enough. So you have to have a swivel. You're supposed to use the 28 millimeter. It's close enough to a 1 1/8 inch socket here, an extension and another extension because you can't have too much on this. And I'm gonna climb up in here on this ram and you can just barely make out where that sucker is right down there. So there we go, and go to loosen mode. This little plastic one, this is way easy. I must not have put it on as tight as I did at the factory. Is it strictly necessary to upgrade this? I don't think so, but if you look at just how much gripping surface you have there, and it's plastic, which I don't understand why you would use so much plastic on this. And we just did my mom's oil change, by the way, on our Kia Soul. Took a look at the air filter. That, 2 latches, up we go. On this, it's 6 frickin' screws. I don't understand it. But I'm gonna go ahead and swap the filter real quick and then replace the cap with this. This ring is quite terrible to get out, but if you can get a knife up under there and then pop it out, hold it so it doesn't go flying, that's good. I got a new filter in here. This is horrible. Whoever thought this was a good idea. All right, maybe you can see, maybe you can't. The other fuel filter is right here, and there's a petcock right here, a little valve. I'm gonna drain some of that. We're just gonna use the oil container here. Perfect. It feels a shame to waste any diesel with the price of it, but all right. There we go. The same swivel bit. And this is the same principle on the other one. If you can get your knife right under this stupid, this is like the hardest part of the whole thing right here. If you can get it underneath that, you're good to go. Whew, covered in diesel. This is not as much fun as it looks, but yeah, these services, now you know why they cost so freaking much. This time is a lot easier, so I don't know. At the robots they have doing these trucks, man, whew, they got some strength on them. Let's go ahead and we're just gonna prime this. You'd have to prime a few times or it will actually not get enough fuel and it'll starve itself. So you gotta fill that whole canister back there. Damn shame to waste all that diesel. Go ahead. Got that fuel filter service required. So we'll go over here, oil life, fuel filter, press and hold OK, and confirm reset. Yes, off we go, 100%. All right, it's been a few days. We've gone ahead and did some things, did a lot of driving, hang out with some folks. It's a good time. And my computer right now is perfect timing because my computer's in with Apple. Yeah. So that's getting repaired, hopefully. Yesterday went ahead and Costco did them for 30 bucks because we didn't buy the tires from them because these are what came on our truck. They went ahead, swapped and rotated all of our tires. Today we're here at Trailer Supplies,
Carson
Trailer Depot. It's basically, we're gonna get this tire looked at. There's some extra play here. We also noticed that this tire was a bit low, so it's supposed to be maximum of 65 PSI. I went ahead and pumped it back up this morning. All right, great news. Scott is the man, and he has our trailer right now. And he's gonna go ahead and take a look at everything. Turns out we have 4 that are all loose. So this is one of those things that like probably just came from Dexter that way, and they're all even. It's an even amount. And I said, is that normal? Like, am I just a idiot? And he's like, no, that's not normal. You do not want to see that. But he goes, it's not the end of the world. He goes, we'll just be able to like tighten the spindle, he said. And I was like, cool. I didn't see a spindle. He goes, right, because you have that Easy Lube business in there. So he actually says that the Easy Lube is a good thing. He goes, it's not a replacement though for inspecting your hubs, which is what I thought. And I'm really testing my knowledge here because like who knows anything about hubs. The other thing apparently is we have these brakes that are like never adjust or something like that or whatnot. Apparently we can go ahead and back up the trailer a couple times just using the trailer brakes, and then they'll figure out what's going on, and then pull forward, just pull the, and then there's like a whole sequence that you can do. I'll have to look that up because I know that one of our things is a little off, one of our axles. So, but honestly, how car it can be, right? So, and I asked him, I said, hey, by the way, if I want to go ahead and just pull my whole hub and do all that, how hard is it? He goes, I mean, obviously you can come into place like here, but he goes, really, it's not hard. It was just really not. I have like greased axles, at least I've lubricated them, like Easy Lube business, but I've never pulled everything apart and inspected the hub. So it's important to inspect the hub though, because you want to make sure there's no wear. You want to make sure they get fully repacked and good grease and all that, because that's what keeps the business rolling. So anywho, all good stuff there. We'll call us in like an hour. All right, we're back. So it looks like it was literally just, they need to be tightened up. Yeah, so there's Trailer Supplies, this is Carson Trailers, and then right behind is Trailer Depots. They're different companies, but the same lot. So if you need to buy a trailer, if you need to service it, but yeah, they said it was, everything else looks great, the grease looks great, you know, all that good stuff, and yep, nothing else. That's awesome. They did it in under an hour, it sounds like, so 125 bucks for that service, and then, yeah, he said the grease looks great. Come back another 5,000 miles or whatever, and they can you can do a full repack and, you know, if needed, but otherwise we're good. So another thing off our list. We are recycling some parts using what we have found in Lenny, and we've got one of the wall pieces. This is one of the better wall pieces. I'm gonna use this underneath the toolbox because we're gonna swap that toolbox out. The red one is, like I said 1,000 times, a piece of crap. So we've got this, and then we're gonna put some heavier stuff here, like our jacks. I'm gonna stick that under there just to make sure that everything gets nice and flattened out. That's probably where the weight, because we were noticing some kind of curling up of the platform there. It's nothing bad. I mean, realistically, most people don't even know that's in there. And if you're wondering, this solution has been awesome, other than that really garbage toolbox. But having it right here, I can access it if I need to pop out. We have everything. I mean, that is awesome. It's a little noisier than we'd like, but I mean, I'll deal with that to make sure that our tools are secure. They're with us all the time. They're easily accessible. That's important. We could do like a truck box, but we had a gal try to break into ours in Nashville. So that's not the best solution. I mean, it's just advertising that you have all that crap with you, but also it's just not convenient to get stuff in and out of that. Especially when we've got our, you know, solar canopy here. So, you know, pros and cons to everything, but this works out well. All right, time for the next project. Now, this one is probably one people will not necessarily understand.
Probably not.
But we have 2 upgrades to do in this area, and this is the first. So when you open this door, so we have this mirror here, Emma's getting ready, whatever. You open this door, and it swings right into that. Now, if you have any coats and things like that, it's kind of in the way. And so if I'm taking a shower, right, if I'm doing whatever I'm doing, it's a little harder to get ready. Hello. But this stuff just rubs right off.
Like, get the magic eraser out, yeah.
Yeah, just a little wipe. It's just whatever. But what we have found by using the official tap test, it appears there might be a little bit of material on either side here, of course, framing these doors. So we should really have no problem. It's like this 6 screws, flip it, and then we just have to put this latch on the other side. Now we just have to get something, whether it's caulking, we might do caulking and then a little button or something like that to fill that back in. But then that door will swing this way, and that's just completely open. It also doesn't close off the middle of the trailer, instead of leaving this whole thing feeling way more open like it usually does. So. Oh. We could just remove the door entirely, because it would look a little goofy, but I mean, we do have the shower curtain anyways.
That makes so much more sense.
There we go. That holds it a little bit. All right. All right, a little bit of cleaning, and that looks much, much better. And yeah, like I said, look at that. We'll have to put a little strip of something up here later on. It's not a big deal at all, but look at that. Good. All right, another project here. We have some nasty stains up here. You can see that mold has set in, and of course on a white. You know, I wouldn't care if this was a darker gray or black or something like that. We can just get the scuds and whatever, and you're not gonna be able to scrub that off. It's just not happening. You know, you can do what you guys want. When I'm gonna use this RMR 86, this worked really well under the bed, although this can be really, really nasty stuff. So my lesson was learned pretty well. You will ruin any sheets that come in contact, any fabrics, right? I'm gonna go ahead. I got clothes on that I'm like, I don't wanna bleach them, but, right? The active ingredient in this truly is bleach. All right. Ooh-wee. Oh yeah. Maybe 15 minutes later, that looks a whole lot different. You can still have a few like little scuff marks and such. I think those are, I don't think that's mold up there. anymore. But this was all, I mean, you can see the black mold everywhere. And it makes good sense, right? Because when you wind it back up, it's not super, super tight. So it's gonna let some rain in there, and that rain's gonna then sit. But I would spray it, leave it for maybe 60 seconds, I mean 90 max, and then rinse, check it, and then spray it again. Yeah, we still have some right here, but this is a night and day difference. I mean, I'm actually gonna hit that again right there and right there. But I mean, other than that, like that's a big difference. All right, hit that with the RMR one more time in this. I'm very, very happy with that. Next up, we've got this closet space. The interesting thing about this closet space, of course, is because they had to have enough room here, not only for the bathroom, so it's just one wall, but this big old fridge, which actually doesn't go all the way through. Really what you end up with is a closet that's kind of narrow, and no complaints about that, but it's kind of narrow, compared to the depth. Now the depth, I can get, oh yeah, this sucker is huge. When we have just hanging storage, what ends up happening is that some of the things are hanging like this because we have so many things that we want to put in there, right? Hawaiian shirts and dresses and things like that. Other things end up like this. And so from the front, you don't even see them. Right, and so the position of, it's just not very well used overall. Practically speaking though, you can just mod this however you want. So I think what we're gonna do is actually take that bar out. And we thought about moving this forward, but then it wouldn't give us a lot. Like the depth of the shelf should probably be at least half of this. And then we can do, we fold our clothes on there anyways. That's fine. We could put extra storage for cleaning supplies or laundry supplies, practically speaking. The bottom will probably just be laundry supplies. We'll get all these pieces, a little coat of paint. I think it'll look a lot nicer, just this kind of like a light gray. I think it'll look pretty good. Get all the edges good and coated. Yeah, why not? These don't necessarily need it, but I think they'll look a little nicer with it. We also picked up some of these nicer, I guess they're latex. Good stuff. We have plenty of mineral spirits, so we can keep these good and clean. And usually we don't use brushes because I don't like brush strokes, but small pieces like this should be all right. So just an idea of kind of what this looks like. So we got Velcro on all four of those. That'll keep it going from left and right. That's good there. And then I'm gonna run a screw down. These are pretty flat overall, so that's not gonna be a big deal. And that leaves a lot of space here, and then we'll just stack the second one on top of these. Easy peasy. The deed is done. Lots of room on all three levels, which is excellent. And then we have some things we can hang here, here, and here that we are currently stashing under there. Big fan, and the color matches nicely. Yeah, it looks pretty all right. Not too bad. It's perfect length. These, it's a little easier to see shirts. Grab something from the bottom. Last night, we actually, we've been loving that little cricket deal. We're going ham with it, let me tell you. We've got a nice flamingo there. Thought that was cool. We are removing this bike rack, and I wish, we'll have to print out a little sticker, a little decoration for the bikes, because this guy, these have damaged. You can see they wore through. They have damaged things. So we're gonna get this off, and I'm gonna give this guy a wash along with the truck. And while I'm doing that, because Emma doesn't like washing stuff. Hi, Colty boy. He's good boy. He's the best boy. Got our bikes here. Gotta watch for those goat thorn things. Emma is over here using some of the Oops paint that we've been picking up in the appropriate colors. I think we're gonna fill this in with some foam, actually, something like that, and then just paint over it. It'll be fine. I don't know what's going on with this fence anyway. So now as for the bus, we are actually powering our trailer off of the bus. And because I turned the electric water heater on last night and the switch is outside, so I totally forgot to turn it off, Lenny's battery is completely depleted, which is, whatever. And if we connect up, the stated charge of that one battery is 1%. So the voltage is 12.02. However, that does correspond with the Victron app that is saying that the stated charge of those batteries is also 1%. So we're getting plenty of solar, 1,415 watts. Let's see, 1403, 1401, oh, it's going back down. It's doing the check, where it goes down, then back up. I didn't know that at first. I thought I had a broken charge controller, the first, the second, the third time, anyways. So yes, this is working beautifully, and we're getting plenty of solar. That's awesome. Real quick, before we spray the fence, got this gaps and cracks, great stuff. The other day, we had a propane alarm, the CO2 monitor, the carbon monoxide. This goes off, and we had turned that on. went ahead and shut that off. After a few seconds, that stopped going on. And I think what is happening is that there's a little bit of a breeze that can come through here, fill that, and then we'll go out there and do that. All right, there we go. Oh, a little bit of overkill, but I'd rather have two, because you can always chip that stuff off. All right, it looks a lot better, but there's hard water here, so you'll see some spots, and there is a lot of tar. Hey, look at some tar out here, and it does not come off super easily. Front looks a million times better. Hold for the water spots. Oh boy, we have some nice ketchup and mustard on the wall. Looks like it's coming along nicely.
I think I know why these are oops paints.
Yeah, they're... I mean, I think you add a couple more colors, you'll be fine. Better than an ugly gray wall.
Yeah.
We have another upgrade to talk about, and this one, you know, initially I was going to put on the trailer, except for the fact that I've got a better use for it. This, it's a lot beefier than I expected. This is the camera itself, and so you have infrared lights, you actually have what looks like flash, so yeah, actual flash, infrared, and then of course you have the ability to tilt and pan, which is a really cool thing because it can then, of course, follow around. This guy has a solar panel. You guys also know my love of solar. I love anything solar. And here in Nevada, where these are going to actually stay, these will be 100% charged up by the sun. We've got some mounting hardware here for the camera. We're gonna be actually able to screw these in, which is really cool. So we'll screw the camera in, mount that. We'll also screw the solar panel in next to that. And where this is going to be mounted, I can't show you the actual mounting installation for some obvious reasons, but this little setup is actually going to monitor Lenny. We'll go ahead and pop that in. And like I thought, we have a power button, a reset button, if you press and hold that, and then a micro SD card slot. So that is huge. I pressed and hold the power button. It's coming alive. Downloading the Camstro app right now. This is the app and kind of what that looks like. And like right now we're live. There might be a little bit of a lag here. I like the pan to tilt. It does give me notifications without me having to pay for them, which is cool. This is the test. You can go to the cloud, it looks like. Yeah, there's backup videos, even your device or SD card is damaged. Let's see, audio, warning, and strobe light. When motion or humanoid is detected. So that's the Camstro. I'm gonna go ahead and set up a second one. And so we're gonna have one on the front of the house, which is totally fine, and then one on the back watching Lenny. Cool thing is though, it's easy enough to mount, it's solar powered, we'll have a record of everything. I need to pop an SD card in here, but otherwise easy to set up, and quality's pretty decent, but this guy's actually big enough that, especially paired, we have two other cameras that are always watching. Nothing back here, so I wanted one on Lenny, you know, directly. We'll also set a camera inside of Lenny looking out, so that if somebody were over here, they figured out, you know, they could see this. This is more of a warning than anything, because this is a pretty, I mean, this is a pretty big, you know, here's my phone, right? But if for some reason they were to disable this, you know, things happen, right? There's always going to be a hidden camera as well. So kind of a cool thing. All right, so that was surprisingly easy to install. The Camstros, 3 screws each. And then that mount for the solar panel is infinitely adjustable. They actually give you a lot of cable, which is a great thing, don't get me wrong. That was the hardest part, is like, how do you hide the cable? And initially I'd actually round, you know, you have the mount for the solar panel, right? I wrapped around that. Didn't love that, but ended up just kind of putting it all in a little bunch and then shoving it behind a piece of wood. And so, happy with that. The nice part though is that if the bus loses power, the Weiss cameras will not work. These will work because they have batteries built in and all that good stuff. All right, we need a little something that can hold in our contents in our bathroom cabinet. Occasionally when we open our mirror cabinet, stuff will fall out, especially depending on the angle that we're at. We got this acrylic. We should be able to score it and break it. Took 2 tries. I didn't score it enough on the first one, but went ahead, got the acrylic here. Score, 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 snap. Now this is another announcement that I'm super, super excited about. I Oh, I'm very excited about this. But right now we are heating this. I may need to go a little bit more conservative with it. And then we're just gonna go ahead and use alien tape after this. That didn't take much at all. It's all right. We'll also introduce some waviness. All right, there we go. I think that looks okay. Got a little marring from the heater there, but a little alien tape on either side. Alien tape is pretty decent stuff. It's reusable, you know, within reason. Easy to clean and then restick. It holds pretty well. But yeah, there we go. So my original idea, put a hole on this side, put a hole on this side, and then tie some like bungee. Emma did not like that idea. She didn't want to put more holes in this, which I understand completely. So her idea was to put like one of the, you know, I guess we have enough room. We probably could have done it, but was to put one of the fridge rods in here, and could have worked as well. But I didn't want to take up so much space. I think this takes up a bit less space and, yeah, not too bad. Okay, we are on day 3 of cleaning these up, of course, intermittently. But part of the issue has been that the metal heats up on the truck. The fiberglass gets pretty warm, particularly down here. It's the colored shells. They get hotter, right? It's one of those things. But I'll tell you everything that we use, because it's actually much cheaper than we've seen for anything else. Like these all-in-one kits can be like 60, 70, 80, 90 bucks. It's crazy. We're using apple cider vinegar and water. So it is hard water, and you can see there's some bubbles in there. I think that's probably a reaction that's happening in here. So it's kind of deionizing. Anyways, if we wanted to save this stuff, which honestly we do, and just like use a detail spray in the future, microfiberglass matter. We need to get a new pack. What we'd end up doing is just going to a spray bay, getting the loose stuff, and then just cleaning this up by hand anyways, because we're doing this. We got 3 laps around here now. But this product here, so this is a 3-in-1 by Rain-X bug, tar, and adhesive remover. This has removed so much crap that I did not expect. I mean, even right here, if you guys remember, we've had these like black nonsense, you know, like this spot specifically. I'm rubbing that, and you can see all it's doing is spreading it. I've used bleach on that. I've used the RMR. I've used rubbing alcohol on that. It does not work. But if I take this, because it just gets rid of all the gunk, I spray it on there. You can let it sit. I haven't needed to let much sit for long. Watch this. This is just, it's crazy. Well, I could give it a little more elbow grease or a little bit more time. It's one of the two, time or elbow grease. You guys decide. This works amazing. I'm genuinely impressed. Literally, it's fiberglass safe. We're not noticing any cloudiness or anything like that. After using any of these, we could polish it all out if needed. But that has been awesome. There's been so much tar. And interestingly, we've really noticed, we did a little tar up here, but a lot of it has been focused down here and on here. And so some of this, I could probably do a better job, but this is all like bed liner coating, but thicker. It's like pointier. Some folks have actually recommended using WD-40 for tar, and I'm sure it does work, but I haven't tried it. So glass cleaner, this stuff is really good, and you can actually find this at the dollar store sometimes, but Lowe's sells it. Home Depot, I think we've seen it at Walmart. This has been pretty good. I would never use this on the acrylic windows, but the stuff is really good, and it's ammonia free. Because we have tint, we want to be kind of careful with that. This blows my mind. We had rust spots in Michigan, and I haven't had to use it since, thankfully, so knock on wood. It's Iron Out Rust Stain Remover. This is incredible, and it did not damage our fiberglass. I was very impressed with this. It works. I also use this on a few metal tools. So we have pliers that, for whatever reason, rusted like crazy. We've had a couple things in here that got a little rust in there. This stuff, it's kind of like a CLR. It's safe to use on porcelain, tile, plastic, color fast fabrics, carpeting, fiberglass, chrome, concrete. This stuff is amazing. It's sort of a niche product, but I think we found this at Lowe's as well. Really good stuff. For the vinyl awning, we used RMR 86. It definitely works. You let it sit and then you spray it off. It works. And I think the reason why this works is because it's mostly bleach. And so honestly, we're probably going to keep this, use it, and then just refill it with like a quarter bleach, like 25-75, or maybe even less. But it's essentially fancy bleach. And there's other, I'm sure there's a couple other things in here that it, you know, whatever. But it is stated, you know, 4 or 5 glass. So if you were to overshoot this, awesome. And it's also good for vinyl siding. So that has worked really well for up there. But so now that we've used, you know, anything that we've needed to on our trailer, we'll go ahead and we're going to hit it with it's a Turtle Wax Hybrid Solutions. It's a ceramic spray coating and a spray on a clean, dry car for incredible shiny protection. We used this on our Scamp right before we sold it. And I will say it actually got it shinier than when we first picked up our Scamp. We also used it on our Integra Esteem. However, the mistake we made, because this does actually kind of seal things in a little bit, and it's good as like a wax replacement. You know, depending on your conditions, you know, your mileage may vary, whatever. It will, if you have any imperfections, it's going to seal that stuff in. But it's easy enough to apply. The way I've done it in the past is that, you know, you can do here. I don't want to use like a microfiber cloth because I don't want to take most of it off. But you spray it on, ideally on a cool surface, and then I like to use this. So, you know, it can take off a lot of the excess. You want to make sure you've got a clean this. I literally spray, pop, off we go, right? You know, is anything perfect? No, you can spend a lot more time doing things, but this only takes a couple minutes to apply to the entire trailer, and off we go. And then the same thing with our truck. We're going to apply that. It is not going to beat a full ceramic coating like a, you know, professional would, but it doesn't need to. It's got graphene in it, which is really good stuff. So that's what we're using, and we've been very, very happy with it. So my computer has been gone for over a week, and my computer had like weird backlight issue. Sometimes you don't know if they're going to do anything because it's hard to replicate some issues. To my great surprise, they swapped the top case with the battery, which is the keyboard and all that, the display itself, and the angle sensor, which is awesome. And it's all under warranty. So fun fact, if you have Apple, now I have my issues with Apple, do not get me wrong, like I have not forgotten about that. But if you have Apple products and they're within the last 5 years, you can actually sign up for, it's like one Apple Care plan for all of your devices, $20 a month. So in effect, Emma's computer, Emma's phone, and then my computer are fully covered. And fundamentally, other than the main logic board, like that's a brand new system. So that's awesome. And now covered for up to 5 years as long as you pay the $20 a month, which is, that has paid off. I'm really glad because I was having some issues with this. So I can finally edit this video. That has been killing me. Check this out. Got a little disco ball backsplash here. And I might even put it all the way around. It's kind of nice. I mean, there's a little waviness because the wall is kind of wavy too. Got a good cleaning in here. As soon as you clean, then you start digging stuff out and reorganizing. And I'm not convinced this rig will ever become clean again. We got the rear bike rack. Made a video about this. Got this installed. All that good stuff. These things are freaking. They are solid. I think there's a little bit of motion back here, but everything's pretty tight. That's awesome. It is a relief. Now we just need to get a little sticker or something for that. You see all that wear? Get a little something there. Emma's is not as bad. I think we caught it before hers was too bad. But that's, hey, this is nice to have. I love this. Also gave the truck a good wash on the inside, which is kind of crazy how much freaking dog fur there is. Nuts. So it's not perfect, but it's good enough. I mean, you know, can't complain about that. It looks a little better, feels a little better. The back platform, we are about ready to install, except for we're running my sisters around, and you know, we're not ready to fully install it yet until we go to leave. It's just one less thing to worry about while we're here. We've been slowly trying to organize all of this. I love this fridge, and my mom was talking about getting a second freezer, you know, just for the good. No, man, just use this. This thing's freaking, this is cool. Anywho, done a little organization, and we've swapped these around. So if you were wondering, we put 4 bolts in between here and this guy. That was perfect. That held awesome. We had 2 large bolts and 2 screws on this, on the bottom. This was going nowhere. So that's awesome. Still in great shape. And then we went ahead and moved things around and actually gained more space. I don't know how that's possible. But we got everything that we're going to need in here. And we have extra space, which is freaking sweet. So Emma is very convinced this will work. I trust her. I swear. I'll give it a little dusting here. Check out this mural. Emma did a really nice job with this. This might look like black, but it's actually a sparkly purple. And then it rained recently, so you know, there's that. But this is going to look very nice once it's completed. So we've got a sign we need to put in. We're looking for like a mint green, and we're looking for oops paint. We also have a new valve to install, but I'm gonna wait until we've emptied our tanks and all that good stuff, because otherwise that's not great. But our valve is definitely leaking. It's hard to tell as to why it's leaking, but they sent one of these anyways, which is great. Our handle broke and it just like, kind of snapped off there. We could just get a new rod, and that would definitely be a solution. But the problem is that this doesn't fully close. So every now we get a little bit of remnant. So anyways, it's gonna be an easy swap. It's just a couple bolts. Yeah, I don't think it'll be too hard. Apparently I've added another thing to our list, and ignore this presentation here. See, I'm getting an error on our 12-volt air conditioner, and that error is E8. E8, I love that they actually give you this. This is the filter here. E8 is condenser fan. Make sure the condenser fan connector is seated properly. Well, I assure you, having pulled this guy down, this is a little controller right here. It is. The other thing we've been getting consistently is controller phase loss. And the weird part about this is that compressor, the little part in the air conditioner that it transfers gas and it heats the gas and it cools the gas, that will sometimes keep running, other times it will not. So that's weird. And so far, it really has been hit or miss. The problem I have with that, though, is that if we're in like 90-degree weather, especially middle of the night, and I just wake up sweating, like that's not bueno. Performance-wise, it has not really kept up. It's a 10,000 BTU unit. We need more than that. It's clear we need more than that. I have shown that the 13.5K, the Houghton, did not keep up in Las Vegas. No humidity, 106 degrees. This did about as good as the Houghton. To my great surprise, I don't really understand it. And people say, BTUs are BTUs, your test is wrong. I gave you the numbers. You do with that information what you will. And we actually have 3 videos, I think, just installing and testing this guy. And numbers-wise, wattage-wise, right, 850 watts, 900, I think, very max, is what we've seen. Yeah, I mean, I was happy with that, happy enough, but it's not keeping up. It's really not. And my thinking is the Houghton might not have done very well either. However, I could run this where we couldn't run the Houghton. So a little bit of improvement is better than no improvement at all, right? So there's that. But I have my qualms because we have these glitches with this. And actually, the Houghton has something this doesn't, which is a heat pump. That would be really nice for when our propane furnace, for whatever reason, kind of poops the bed and just there's not enough airflow or something like that. Or we're at an elevation where it works perfectly fine here, but at 7,000 feet it doesn't want to run. I don't know, like that's a weird thing. So that would have been cool to have, at least in a pinch, right? Now there's a heat strip in some and heat pumps. So a heat strip is just a bunch of coils that are heated and the air passes over them and it warms you. That's cool. That takes a lot of power, 1,500 plus watts. Whereas well, actually all air conditioners are technically heat pumps. So again, they're just transferring gases, squeezing gases, basically it uses gases in there, circulated, to transfer heat, to take heat from one area to another. It doesn't really create, or, you know, it just transfers heat. This doesn't have that heat pump. It doesn't have a switch in there to, like, do the reverse, but a heat pump would be much more functional. So I'm really bummed. The other thing, I honestly think this has the capacity to cool a lot. And I took the fan off of this side because I went to go clean it and it just fell off in my hand. But here's a little piece of paper, right? You got some airflow here. It's not extremely impressive, but then you get out to here and there's nothing, right? This one has the blade here on this side, and you can see actually that's pretty good, right? So we're directing all that air, but you get to here and it's lackluster and it's just really not reaching a whole lot. You can see that. You know, as I go, you get a little more out here, but you can't feel it back on the bed where I am. Right? Like, blade or no blade, you can't feel it. So I can use another fan, but now we're adding 100 watts or so. So if that thing runs at 850 at its max to keep us cool, and it's having a tough time, it's going to be like 950 watts. That's just not optimal. So what do we do about that? Well, there's a new controller, which, by the way, that controller is really loud. That's the worst part about this thing. I mean, otherwise, I don't want to say anything bad about it necessarily. We might have just gotten a kind of a bum, controller display deal. It's not quite it. In a smaller, like a 13-foot trailer, this, I truly believe this would be just more than enough, you know, more than enough. But we're not going to switch back to a window AC unit right now. But I've reached out to one company in particular because, you know, we were looking at the Furrion Chill Cube. That would be awesome, but they haven't reached out to us at all. I've looked up more and more reviews. People seem to like them. They really like the Chill Cube, but it's an 18K unit, and it has a big flap that comes down. And let's say that flap comes down to like here, that could be a little sketchy, especially if I have shoes on. So the 18K, I would rather have an overpowered unit that's probably close to a 16 or 17K unit, BTU wise. They haven't reached back out. The fact that they haven't even responded at all is kind of weird to me. So I'm like, oh, I don't know that their support is going to be good. It's Lippert / Furrion. I've had pretty decent, you know, success with their support in the past, so that's a bummer. But there's one other company I reached out to, and that unit in particular, so it actually is a 13.5K unit. It's an inverter model, much more efficient. That's awesome. The reason the inverter models are more efficient is they can kind of drop up and down. You know, they can go up and down. Power-wise, they're not just on or off. The Coleman Mox will have like a high, a low, or off, right? Those units will run the compressor at the same speed, but the fan will go a little lower, a little higher. So you'll notice that there's not a big power differential there. That being said, I think that the inverter with a heat pump, that's going to be awesome. I think that's going to be our solution here. Now this guy's just running the fan here. Actually, I think the fan is more efficient in this than even the Max Air fan. It takes less power, but it doesn't move enough air. But if I go ahead, right now we're at like 101 watts, 100 watts right there. If I go ahead and hit the power on this guy, yeah, 670. So that fan only runs at 30 watts. That's so efficient. It's so dang efficient. So I'm really bummed about this. And I wish it could do more. But before we were ever getting errors, the numbers just weren't quite there for me, and the performance wasn't quite there, and also we need a controller. And so anyways, that's an update on that, and hopefully we have some sort of replacement unit that we can test out, and I'll give you a long-term. The temperatures outside are not really that hot, but we can test the heat function. That should be no problem, and we can also still test the AC function here. It just won't be a true real-world performance until we get into the hotter temperatures. So I'm looking forward to that, and that'll be more of a long-term review. But an inverter model, I want to get closer to those window units. So anyways. All right, we are here. It is Tire Martin Company. It's also Vegas Tire, something like that. I looked over this tire. You saw me look over this tire. I cleaned everything out, and I was trying to figure out, basically, why was it slowly losing air? Well, there was a little nail right in there. The cool part is that because it was wet, then we could see bubbles coming out. And it was the most embarrassing thing. I was like, I don't know if it's like the valve stem. I'm not seeing anything. And the guy's like, comes up, lifts this up, and within what, 2 seconds, he goes, like, there it is. Like, I'm like, shut your pie hole. Oh my God. We used to have a tire repair kit, and we don't currently. So we've got one on order as well. It's a must-have item. Because we have a spare, but we'd rather not use the spare if we can just patch the tire, or even pop the spare on, but then get that ready for the next time. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was stupid. Maybe 10 minutes, in and out, 20 bucks, and he patched it, and we're off we go. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was probably the best service we've ever had at a tire spot. And you know what they didn't do? Try to talk us into new tires.
Yeah.
Oh, huge win. Oh, that feels good. I can't believe I missed it. But if it weren't wet, like, you just wouldn't see it.
Right, well, and we would have just taken the tire off and brought it in anyways.
Yes.
So. Great
service. 10 out of 10. They get 5 stars from me, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Whew. Today we are going to replace this valve, and Escape was kind enough to send me the entire valve assembly. We're not going to do all that because then we have to use glue and all, you know, none of that. This is the issue right here. So on our unit in particular, well, not only do we have a cracked handles, right, and I could just replace that, but this door right here, this is how your valves work, right? You pull this, it's a very simple process. See, the problem is, and you might not be able to tell, but there's actually, this is why ours is leaking. There's a little bit of light. You can see the light through there. You can see the world through there. I realize that's the problem. So the issue is with the slight bit of leakage is actually with the Bristol valves. So I'm gonna give Escape a little bit of feedback on that, but we are gonna swap this anyways, because on this particular unit, yeah, these just spin. This is not like it's not a replaceable valve, so kind of a bummer there, I guess, but these are made in the USA, and I can see us going to Camping World and buying a Camco product or something like that, because Bristol disappointing. All right, this is most definitely one of the grossest things we've done in a long time, but it's got to be done. We have 4 bolts in here. They're really quite difficult to reach and adjust, but just 4 of these guys. And it doesn't matter how much you empty your tank beforehand, it will not be empty. So just prepare to soak yourself in gasoline afterwards or whatever. Don't really do that, jeez. All right, we're almost done with the last one now. We can rotate this now, and now we have to somehow get this out of here. The spray foam is solid stuff. Big fan, except for right now. I don't know. See, and the problem is you can't just replace these, right? Like if I could just replace this, this would be, you know, I'd just button it right up right here, but I'm not able to like wiggle this out of here. Well, dang. So this is as much fun as it looks, guys. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you, the deed is finally done. And I mentioned that it was not my intention to replace the entire valve, and ended up doing that because I figured out that basically the short valve, the short pipe here, was easier to finesse. Not easy, but easier than the big guy. So no leaks so far, knock on wood. That sucks. That honestly, of all of the jobs, I would rather run solar every day of my life than do this once a week. This was so bad, and I think part of the reason, and it's worth the trade-off, but a lot of the reason was really the spray foam prevents the ability to flex and just kind of move the pipe out. So, pros and cons to everything. That one is kind of a con if you're updating or upgrading or whatever. And the valves are not leaking, although we've not put a lot of black water in. You know, we've not used our toilet and such. But yeah, I don't like it. You know, no, I just don't like these valves. Heck yeah, it's about time. So we have the other side still down for my sister, but man, this is nice. So look at that. I can pull this and it doesn't frickin' open. I'm giving this some good, you know. Emma was pretty right when it came to, yes, it is going to fit in here. We did have to get new ratchet straps, not a big deal. That they're nice and they're black, which is, that looks a lot better. Took off the logo so it doesn't stand out. I love that it's black. This was pretty tight, so right here almost hits here, and it does, if we extend this all the way out, it will just barely hit here, but I'm not worried about that. Worst case, we'll put a little rubber or something like that. I think we have some actually we just slap on there. This looks 1,000 times better, and it feels these a lot sturdier than that other master crap piece of, I don't even talk about it. Then we're gonna do some more work up here. We're getting closer and closer to being done with this. We'll have one more scene after this because I'm done. This is ridiculous.
This is the longest video we've ever made.
Yeah, oh my gosh. It's still kind of a wreck in here, but we have some more decorations. This will all be cleaned up, but guess who's got their Christmas tree out? That's right. Unfortunately, not all of these made it this year.
We might make a special stop back at World Market because that's where we find all of our favorite Christmas decorations.
Yes. This guy actually fell, and my sister was kind enough to super glue it for us.
Did you Velcro it right there?
Yeah, I Velcroed it right there.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and we found this guy for, I think it was less than 15 bucks at Walmart. This is kind of nice for the utensil holder deal there. Some of my favorite decorations here. Love that. There's that backsplash again. I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, it's got a little texture to it. And this one we're still experimenting with, but I've got a clamp mount there, and this sucker is solid. It's not going anywhere. My only concern though is that this sucker will, there might be an easy way to just strap that down while we're in motion, but it doesn't have like a clip or anything like that, and then we'll work on the wires. But to show you here, I know people are typically interested in what my workflow is, but while I typically work only on this guy, I've had this in the bus for a long time. We just haven't hooked this up, and 16 versus 32-ish inches. The fun part is this is a business monitor, and so it didn't come with any, I think it was used. I honestly think it was bought new by a former company I was with. This did not come with a stand, and it did not come with a power adapter, and I call LG. One reason I would never support them, oh my gosh, at least not their tech side. They go, yeah, you can totally buy a power brick for $111. $111 for that piece of, it's $15 on Amazon, and that's, you go to eBay and find it cheaper. And then the stand was like $20, I think, on sale. So anyways, this is kind of cool. If I wasn't going to use it anyways, it's like, yeah, it might be fine. Like, it's worth risking. Like, it could last forever and be just fine, or it could not, you know. But you know, it might be worth trying out. So this is kind of cool. But just to show you, like, I can do so many windows, and you can just do so much more there versus, you know, just a small screen. So when I go to edit like a Final Cut video, that's really where I think this is going to come in handy, because if I want to start pulling in some content on this side, right, and then I've got my timeline here, and these timelines can get pretty large. So maybe I have to pull this up, right? I've got, it's hard to grab things, but I've got like 4 or 5 like sounds going, things like that, right? And now you can see this isn't very big. I mean, this is a nice big monitor for a laptop, but I can bring this over here, and now I've got so much workspace. It's ridiculous. I can keep everything open, and just the viewing area is bigger than my monitors on the laptop, right? So, I mean, it's just amazing. Yeah, again, not very color accurate, but, you know, LG's advertising also not the best. So yeah, I'm excited about this. Of course, we've got Disco Santa here. We have some. We got to make this work a little bit better, but I don't know. I'm excited. It feels good. Now we also have one set of Christmas lights to hang up, and we could put them on the inside, but we don't typically like all the.
I feel like we can enjoy them on the inside.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm thinking, like, we could just hang them out here, and then we get little hooks. Honestly, even just right, as long as it's not too windy, I think that'll be fine. And then you do have to take them down outside. But if we put them inside, like, we don't keep them on when we're sleeping, and then they're no use during the day, and so there's a limited period of time. I don't know. Like, if they were our primary lights, that might be something. Oh, and before I forget, you see all these black streaks? These would normally be pretty nasty to clean off. Check this out. Look at that. You just need a little wipe. That's it. That graphene-based whatever. Just have to come in here with a little rag. That's it. And once I dust it off, basically, it's just dusting. Once I do that, go ahead and maybe even reapply the turtle wax, but I love that. That feels good. The best part of our projects, I think, we've got our Christmas lights up. And I don't care that it's pre-Thanksgiving. Not one bit. I think it looks awesome. So we've got them all the way around here. And we were going to go behind the solar panel, but we realized that we could just run them, the second rail up there, if you see that. No, I think that looked really good. And then we kind of doubled up back here because we had so much oh, they look like they're blinking. They are not blinking. They're solid. In person, they're solid, yeah. There it goes. Yeah. So, no, I think that looks pretty dang good. I'm excited about that. So yeah. we bought a 100-foot thing from Target for like $8. Yeah. They're indoor outdoor. Yeah, this is like the second. Like, I thought it was going to take the whole 100 feet. Nope. That's awesome. So, anyways, we are slowly but see, this isn't all of the projects that we need to do. We keep adding things. Yeah,
this is all the projects we're going to share with you for right now, because this video is so long.
Yeah. It's crazy. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you had a little fun with it. Well, more fun than we did.
Yeah.
We'll see you in the next video.
Bye, guys.